Welcome to our Q2 update. My name is Zahra Clark and I head up Tiger Recruitment in the MENA region. And with me today, I have Faye, who is a consultant within my team. Today, we're going to be discussing all things recruitment within the UAE market and the changes and overcoming current situations that we've seen happening in the market. So Faye, let's start off by discussing, recent challenges that we've seen in the market. Sort of January, February was very, very positive, and we were coming off the back of 2025, which was also very, very strong. And we were going into 2026 strong. However, I do feel like the market right now is still holding, but we've seen some challenges, haven't we?
Yeah, Zara, I think definitely the start of 2026 was good for us. However, come March, so towards the end of the first quarter, we've seen a lot of companies affected by the current tensions. I wouldn't say that recruitment has been dead. I would say it is on hold at the moment for most industries, but a lot of industries, especially local ones, are still operating as usual. They are still recruiting. So they are recruiting, but very slowly. It's more of a cautious approach rather than a full-on freezing of hiring.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that like what I've been working on is still moving. I feel that it's been moving at a slightly slower pace than what we've been used to, say, come December, January, February, where everything was quite intense, moving very quickly. I still that there's still very good levels of business, but things are just moving slower and processes are just taking longer. I'm still seeing an appetite from candidates who are still engaged to move for better opportunities. Which is interesting because you would think, given this situation, a lot of candidates would still want to stay in their current roles, but I'm not seeing that in the market at the moment. And also, we are still seeing a huge appetite for people to relocate here, aren't we?
Yes, exactly. I think with what's happening in the GCC as a whole, candidates would still see opportunities in the UAE. It's still a stable market. We have been approaching candidates globally, and they're still very keen on relocating here. It does depend, though, on which industries, because candidates nowadays, they've really been cautious in their approach in moving to other companies as well, just making sure that it is stable, making sure that it is the right move for them. But yes, it's not necessarily that that candidates are really off of UAE. They do still want to work here. Even candidates or employees who has, let's say, been laid off or has been let go, maybe they move back to their home countries for a while, a couple of months, but for sure we would still see them coming back to the UAE.
And also an influx in Emirati hiring at the moment. I know that across the team, we've had an appetite for companies hiring local talent. You've been quite busy with those hires as well, haven't you, Faye?
Yes, absolutely. I think with just off the back of 2025 with the nationalization requirements, we're still seeing a lot of demand for that. I think companies have been smart now, approaching this requirement quite early in the year, making sure that they meet the targets way before the deadline.
Yeah. And so recently we talk about the market now because candidates do keep calling. They keep saying to me, how's the market? What are you seeing? What do you think? I mean, naturally, everyone's asking the same questions. I feel that we're gaining traction in the market. Though I would say that we were about 20% of live positions were put on hold while people wanted to see what happened and reevaluate their hiring needs. Some of those roles that were on hold have now been lifted and we're starting to move forwards. But I do believe that there is now there's confidence in the market to continue business as usual, and to continue hiring. And also now, I think as well, is a good time to hire because there are good candidates in the market wanting to move and wanting to take these opportunities. So I think if you are a client and you're thinking maybe about hiring, now's a good time because, I feel that there's an appetite from candidates wanting to move, and there's candidates that have actually relocated from London recently and are here on the ground looking for jobs. I mean, that equally, Faye, is quite interesting, isn't it? I mean, I was discussing this the other day with a client saying, oh, there's a candidate that is relocated here on the ground, immediately available. I mean, it's quite risky to do it because you don't know how long it's going to take you to get a job. But, if you're a strong profile, it could be quite a good time to do so because of the current roles that we do have on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the approach of companies at the moment, that they've been very cautious, they've been very slow in their process. I could really see that backfire for them. I understand that they want to see where this situation goes for now, but they might lose out on talents, especially the ones who are immediately available in the country, those who are still very hungry and want to just focus on working. It's just some things are on hold, and some companies are taking advantage of that they do tend to do their interview processes slower.
But going back to what you just said, Fed, it depends on sectors, don't we? So obviously everyone knows that hospitality has been hit quite hard. So we're seeing people being paused for 3 months or being able to go home for 3 months and then coming back. So I think that hospitality is definitely one of the markets that has been hit hard. But other markets, I still moving as usual, with less caution. The other thing sorry, go on.
Yeah, so I think it's not just hospitality. I could see that with some of my clients in logistics as well. Although, yeah, some things have been moving in the Strait of Hormuz already, but we are still seeing a lot of delays. I have a couple of clients who are looking to expand here. They're still struggling with getting their equipments here, which would then cause delays with licensing, causing delays with them launching over here. So yeah, I think it is definitely depending on industry, but you're right. A lot of companies on the ground locally, they're still looking to hire. They're still looking to strengthen their operations locally, and it's more of a strategic approach rather than just pure expansion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And also offices in financial districts, they are continuing to open. I know that some have been opening up in these current weeks, and still going ahead with no delays. So I find that quite interesting as well. So that just demonstrates how everyone's just adjusting to a new situation and finding ways to overcome and move forwards. I think the UAE have done a phenomenal job, and aren't we lucky to be here with what they have done and achieved in this current situation. So, and also like businesses out there, how they've adapted to it and looked after their staff. I mean, credit where credit is due. I think everyone's done a really fantastic job, and it's been a challenging time, but we all rise through these challenges, which I think is really important. Is there anything that you would suggest to advise candidates right now? I mean, I know there's been candidates reaching out to me on LinkedIn and asking for ideas. I mean, is there anything that you would suggest for candidates' advice right now?
Yeah, I think for candidates who may be struggling to find jobs at the moment, this would be a good time to upskill yourselves. Maybe take courses or learn something new. Just because the market is a little bit slow doesn't mean that there's nothing for you out there. There will definitely be jobs. I could see that this would pick up quite soon. And yes, I think for those who have been laid off, those who has been made redundant, they have very specialized skills, so they can also focus more on improving their profiles, improving the way they interview, as usual, for them to network and really put themselves out there. Yeah, I think that would be the best way really for candidates to approach this current market situation.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I think that's it to round up Q2, to give you an overview of what's been going on over the last few weeks. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.